Hey everyone, it's ZaciRoo and welcome to Caregivers Month. This month, Miss Mommy Black and Mommy Boo will be tackling some topics in regards to what it's like to be a caregiver and all the aspects of being a caregiver within the ABDL community combined together. So, sit back and relax and enjoy this 4-part series we'll be discussing all about caregivers.
So we're going to do intros first and kind of go through this spiel. As we were introduced, I'm Mommy Black, or I go by Mommy Black, and
I'm Mommy Boo.
And this is our little helper, Zach. He's not feeling well this morning, so he's not going to be very vocal. So we run the Little Baby Boo Nursery, which is that little thing supposed to be attached to the camera or to the phone at the top?
No.
Okay. Sorry. I also get distracted very easily. So anything shiny like this, I'm just going to suddenly start playing with it like a little cat. So we run the Little Baby Boo Nursery, which is located in Los Angeles County. It's just outside of LA. We're kind of like in the high desert. And we're basically a nursery for adults. And we do play parties, and we also do one-on-one sessions. So that's who we are. We're going to get a little bit more detailed. What this class is about, so I can go to the next slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh no.
Here, you can control it.
What do I do?
Click.
Oh my god, this is so amazing.
That's amazing.
Technology.
Wow, thank you.
So as you guys all know, I mean, play is absolutely important. And we've learned, since we've been doing this, we've learned so much about so many things. It's been amazing. So we're going to share a little bit about what we've learned with you guys and stuff. So yeah, again, who we are, Little Baby Boo Nursery. What this class is about, we focus really on non-sexual therapeutic aspects of age play. We really wanted to, I think that there are a lot of fallacies when it comes to ABDL. I think a lot of people really just kind of squish it into kink-based when it's definitely not, and we kind of focus more on the therapeutic aspects of it. I want to make sure that everybody has their mics muted. Mics muted. Thank you very much. So really, we're talking more about, not about caregiving and littles in terms of power play, but more of like power dynamics. So this class isn't really going to be about sort of like, I'm not going to talk anything about like the mommy dom aspect of what I do. It's more about Little Baby Boo Nursery, which is different. And again, I apologize. I went to sleep like 2 hours ago. I am definitely of the night. You are more of a morning person, so I'm really going to be babbling most of this time. Who this class is for, it's for every type of caregiver that's involved in age play. So while this isn't really about dark age play or submissives and dominance, it's really about the psychological background of being a caregiver, which is so important, and I don't think people really really give it the, what's the words I'm looking for?
The attention
that it needs. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that's why this class is important, because people really just, like I was saying before, they lump it in with kink, and they really don't take a look at the psychological impact that it can have. And we as caregivers, that power that we have over littles that can really cause harm if we're not careful. And so that's kind of what this is about, is paying attention to that. Okay, so Little Baby Boo Nursery. That, again, this is where we are. This is a little image of what the nursery looks like. Right now it doesn't look like that because we're all in chaos and we have a bunch of diapers and stuff, but typically this is kind of what it looks like. And then on YouTube, if you guys are interested in looking at it, we have like a walkthrough too that you can see what it looks like. And we're located again just outside of LA. This class is really going to be taught, like I said, we have almost like characters that we play when we're interacting with littles, and that's Mommy Black and Mommy Boo, and she's the sweet Mommy Boo, and I'm the not so sweet Mommy Black. And similar to Little Space, we kind of go into a mommy space where we go into these characters, but this class is going to be taught by who we are, like as normal everyday people. So Boo is very, very different when she's in mommy space versus her normal self. So this, you're going to be getting kind of a background or a what's it called, a behind the scenes look at who we are kind of in person. So if any littles are out there that are wanting to try and be like, oh my God, I'm going to see Mommy Boo and Mommy Black, that's not what this is. This is really just us as people trying to communicate and interact with other caregivers to really tell them really what it's about and what we should be focusing on and how we can get other people involved and stuff. So our background, I'm going to let Boo take over from right now. This is her kind of jam.
Oh, sure.
Who we are and how we
yes,
started.
just to let you know a little bit about Mommy Boo's background, and I go into...
Yeah, you can tell them how we started, you know. So our backgrounds are really... I mean, how we started was amazing. Like, our backgrounds really kind of lent itself. We complemented each other in how we kind of came into this. And you want to tell them about your background?
Yes.
And again, a lot of this, we just want to let people know that this could be triggering because we are going to talk about childhood...
Trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger warning, childhood abuse and stuff that's very adult. So we don't want anyone being in little space right now. When we're talking about, you need to, be in adult space, definitely when we're talking about this stuff. Okay, continue.
So, I grew up in a horrible, extreme abuse since infancy. And it was really difficult. And I had siblings, but my oldest brother, we helped each other get through it the best we could. And he's a little. And that was such a time of just caring and loving that we could just go in another world. And I could diaper him and take care of him and nurture him. And so that started actually as a coping way to cope. And it just made us feel so much better. So then, going forward a little bit, being able to get out of that environment at 18, then I was really honored and I was given a lead position in an infant care. So that was amazing. I got a lot of practice with that and then went on to become a kindergarten teacher for 12 years. So I just love it. In my personal life, having had children, that's been amazing in my life. I'm just a nurturer. I'm just a lover. And this Little Baby Boo Nursery has been a way for me to just nurture and be nurtured. And also my kids are growing up now. So they're about to be totally grown, all of them. So this is something for me that I can continue to do, that nurturing and loving that just helps me so much. So that's a little bit about like how I started and what drove me and what helped me. And in that, I'm hoping that it'll help others.
Mm-hmm. And my background is in psychology. I have an undergrad degree in psychology and a master's in forensic psychology. I was going to get my PhD, but then I started getting ill, which is a completely different story. But my background in psychology is with basically deviant psychology, deviant sexual psychology. So I'm able to really listen to, I'm not really offended by much. I'm very open to everything. So when Boo and I started talking, when we met and we started talking, I was able to really hear a lot of what she was saying without judgment and without really being shocked. So that's how our relationship started. And then she was, you were on,
yes,
you were getting jobs.
I was
jobs.
out here in California. And I was trying to get nanny and babysitting jobs, and I put out an ad on several social media platforms. And something really cool happened that was unexpected. I got responses from adult ABDL, adult baby diaper lovers, that needed care and non-sexual care. And it just like, it in the same moment kind of broke my heart, and my heart saw a way of healing. And I was like, wow, this is what how my brother coped and things my brother did, and this is amazing, and there's a need, and I would love to be there and create a way to be there. So then me and Mommy Black got to talking about it.
Mm-hmm. So it really came together because, again, like I said, my background is in deviant sexual behavior. So initially, like when we were kind of going into it, we really weren't sure. I had no experience in the ABDL world, so going in, I was like really curious. And then the more that I learned, the more I realized, because I think like a lot of people, I just was like, okay, was this just a kink-based thing? And that's fine with me if it is. You know, the more I learned that like the people who were coming to see us, this is not just a kink-based thing. This is actually a very healthy form of therapy. And it was important when we started this too, for Boo to be in a safe space where she could express herself without fear of like rejection, without fear of being hurt, without fear of sexuality. So it really ended up being this really perfect fit for us. And then we brought on Buttercup, and Buttercup would be here, but she's not feeling well. She has some sciatica issues, and she also has some, is it an autoimmune, some other physical issues where she's not here, but she's still with us.
She will rise again.
She will rise again. But she also has had, when we were talking to her about what we were doing, she also has had past relationships where it has been ABDL, an ABDL relationship. So the three of us coming together, it was just really fate and kismet. But it's given us the opportunity to really meet so many people in this community, and it's been so amazing because we've met. We do, like I said, we do one-on-one sessions where we get to know people who are they're not always out, but we're able to give them, you know, love and affection and unconditional love, where they come in and it's so amazing. It's so amazing because it's just like we're able to be unconditionally loving, and those littles are able to come in and just be like themselves, and that's awesome. And then on the other hand, we're also very privileged to be able to meet tons and tons of littles who come into the group play parties, which is like a completely different aspect of it, and the group dynamics and all that stuff. So again, what we've learned a lot over the last couple of years in meeting a bunch of people. And one of the things that we want to do is really tell everyone what this community really is about, because I think that so far, a lot of people have really just come from their own perspective because that's like all they know, or the people that they've met at cons. But I think we're very unique in that we've seen and met people at cons. We've met people in person. We've met people virtually, the whole gamut. And I think we have that unique perspective. So what we feel is an onus of our responsibility is to really disseminate the information, get rid of like these fallacies, really let people know that this is absolutely healthy. This is absolutely such a healthy way of expressing yourself, of dealing with stress and all of that stuff, and to really actually educate people about who people are in this community, because I think that people don't understand that either. And that's kind of what we're going to go through today too. So to help help other caregivers when they're coming into situations, like we also understand that like us being caregivers is going to be different than you guys being caregivers if you have your own particular one little. There are generalizations that you can make, which we'll go over. But I think it's helpful for if you're a caregiver to multiple littles, or if you plan on doing that, or if you just really want to learn more about it and be able to tell other people about it too. Or it can even help you if you're a switch dealing with your own little, you know, your own inner little, and being like, okay, this is how I need to treat myself. Or this is, because that is so important, actually. I mean, that reminds me of someone else who realized, I see I'm going down the rabbit trail. You get me talking, and I'm just gonna be like, oh no.
Okay,
That'll come
Mommy
later.
Black.
I know. So tired. So tired. So we'll go to this next one. So we want to talk about the psychological components of non-sexual age play. What is important that most people know, which you probably know if you have a little, odds are, is that a lot of folks in the ABDL community, and again, not everyone. This is just information that we've learned and that we have. So you might have a completely different take on it or completely different experience, and that's okay. There is no right or wrong. We're just letting you know what we found. So there is a very significant proportion of people who have a history of trauma. So it's important to know as a caregiver when you're going into it that it's not to be taken lightly. This isn't just about domination and control. This is about allowing someone else to get into a space where they can be completely vulnerable, and you are the one who's kind of in charge of that. So it's important to know that a lot of littles come from physically or emotionally abusive households, like Boo.
Yes.
So that a lot of what you can do can be triggering, and so it's important to recognize that. There are also a large number of people that are in the military that suffer from either, past abuse or from PTSD from the military. A lot. That was kind of surprising to me. So it wasn't I would have thought that the military people that would come in would be more of sexual based. And again, it's not an all or nothing. It's not just I'm sexual or I'm non-sexual. It's like this full gamut, just like human sexuality.
Continuum.
Yeah, human sexuality, it's everywhere. But what we really try and focus on is the therapeutic non-sexual. So my thinking would have been, military, this is just going to be kink based or whatever. But no, there's so many who just need that kind of like safe space to be able to just kind of let go, realize that they're safe, that they're not going to be harmed. They can talk about whatever they want to, or just be held. Being that physical touch is amazing, which everybody really knows if you think about it. Just, it can solve so much. And I tend to think of Little Baby Boo Nursery as sort of a, what do I always call it? Like the therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of, not an addendum. Brain function is not
Snuggle therapy.
Yeah, about how it's sort of a complement to therapy. Like we're not therapists. So I want to make sure that people know that we're not like, that, but I think that we're perfect for a sort of a complement to therapy where we can come in and we can do the physical, just attention and love and snuggles, but we don't really necessarily need to talk through anything. I tend to when I'm like one-on-one with someone. I'm all about like psychology, so I'm like, tell me about your panels. I want to know everything. But we really are about that sort of physical need that people have to be touched and loved.
And some that have visited us have been recommended from their therapist to try to find, something like this.
Yeah.
So that's been nice.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't engage in, they might have an interest and they might be great caregivers, but they're just so afraid of what ABDL means and what to expect in an ABDL relationship that they are hesitant. So that's one of the things that I think we want to really talk about too, is as a caregiver, setting boundaries and stuff, and how really it's not about, you can be in a relationship where it's not about sex. And you can be in one that's all about sex. There's no wrong, but just in what we're talking about is therapy-based. Also, there's a trauma of early incontinence where it's, people growing up and being incontinent and having to wear diapers as a youth, and just like all of that trauma and stuff and junk. And Zach's actually kind of talked about that a little bit on his YouTube channel. Where he had issues growing up. He was a preemies. There are a lot of preemies also, but that's in for another day. But he kind of talks about how the diaper usage and being forced to wear a diaper when he was young has kind of played into everything.
And we've learned this over these years of doing this. So a lot of, or maybe we had ideas, but then we really learned it by doing it and learning from each person that came to us or came through the nursery. So it's been just a huge learning experience for us as well as mommies.
Like this fun, wonderful learning experience for us. It's just been amazing. Okay.
It has been. I'm so thankful.
Where's the next? Where did the? Oh, there it goes. I feel so old. I'm like clicking. I'm like, how does this thing work?
Welcome to Boo's
I don't
world.
understand. This is ridiculous.
Boo's kind of technology challenged a little.
A little tiny bit.
Yeah.
I know it took us. So what we focus on again is age play as a help or as a therapy. And so we really, whenever we go off the beaten track, we always want to come back to like these main tenets of like what we believe and what we try and do. And it's all about healing for us, all about creating a space where we can heal and they can heal. Because if we weren't getting something out of it emotionally, then we wouldn't be doing this. Like you can tell, and I think a lot of people have said that we are very authentic in what we do. We really do form attachments with every person that we come in contact with. And that's, I think, why it's worked so well for us, because it provides us with like, it's just amazing. It's also amazing. Amazeballs. Also, do no harm. So a lot of what we do is we sort of take that, not just sort of, we take on that role of parent where we try to limit how our feelings are being affected. We have, of course, this emotional attachment, but we also recognize that just like if you're a parent to a child, a lot of times you really just kind of have to not pay attention to what your needs are, but really the little's needs are. So like if we're ever feeling like something where, you know, I don't know, I can't think of an example right now, where we want something to happen, but we realize that this other little might not be at that place or want something else to happen. We don't really look at what our needs are because we don't want to harm that little. It's sort of like, I don't know if it's in this thing. We always see, when someone comes in, we always see them at that age. So if someone comes in and they identify as like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, we really do kind of connect into that and say, okay, this person is 2 or 3.
That's how we see you.
Yeah, we absolutely do. So a part of that do no harm really is kind of getting into that space where we see them as a 2 or 3-year-old and we think of them and say, we would never do or say anything to a 2 or 3-year-old, you know, because if you do, it can end up psychologically re-traumatizing them. We also have a no judgment zone. And I mean, it's really amazing, the 3 of us coming together. All 3 of us are very open. We're all like open to different sexuality. We're just open to everything. Like, and that's just innately who we are. So that's just helpful in general. So we haven't had to be like, had the talk with everybody. Like, this isn't, no, it's just, we really are loving of like everyone. The only thing that I have a problem with is when people are mean. And then like the claws come out. And I'm also very protective of this one. But
Thank you. Thank you, Mommy.
But yeah, it's very important as a caregiver that you look at that and you are being non-judgmental, because when people are in that little space, weird things are going to come out. And I think that that's why we were talking about the trauma before, is because you have to put yourself into that role of like, okay, this person is expressing themselves in their little selves. We don't know how that's going to come. Their past trauma is going to come about, but we really need to just focus on them. Not to say that we're not important, because that's far from the truth, because you really do need to take care of yourself, but it really is, I don't know, at least from my perspective, it really is becoming a parent and making sure that that little one is able to get to a safe space where they know that they can trust. They're putting so much trust into you, because littles are super sensitive. which is another point. They are so sensitive, which you guys know because a lot of you are littles. And when you are littles, you will take things very personally, which is understandable. But that's also something that we have to do is really just be like, they are littles, and always be looking to see if we can get feedback about if we've hurt somebody. There's so much to it. There's like, because again, with the trauma that folks have been through, sometimes they'll just be like this little hurt look,
And our hearts just swell up.
So it's important to be connected to that little and be getting feedback, and not really be focused on what you want. And again, this is more in terms of, it can go in terms of a long-term relationship, or even for small play. So even if you're just playing with someone for a couple of hours and it's more of just not superficial play, because this, I don't know that you can do this in a superficial way, but it's important to have this kind of the onus of responsibility kind of lies on the caregiver in these situations. I think in this type of play, because you're allowing someone to just go to this kind of like super sweet, super vulnerable, like taking off their armor.
It's the biggest responsibility
absolutely
have, and we take it very seriously.
Absolutely. And again, in the whole All About Healing, we really focus on healing play and not scening, and being authentic, and not that scening, and again, scening is absolutely wonderful and fun, because again, mine, I don't know if I didn't go into this before, but my interaction with ABDL is mine is more kink based. Hers is more therapeutic based. Mine goes both, but mine is definitely more kink based. But when we're doing this, our caregiver, play space, it really is more about having an authentic piece of yourself and an authentic reaction. Because if you're just doing scening, I don't think that a little can really truly get into a little space. It's almost like playing little space instead of really just having that innate trust in somebody, or being able to have that trust in someone that someone really is going to take care of you because they're being themselves. It's even if it's not readily apparent, there's still going to be that sort of like subconscious, like, okay, this person really isn't here. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, littles are very intuitive.
Oh, absolutely.
So, they're watching us as much as we're watching them, and they're feeling us as much as we're feeling them, and that's really important to have that connection.
Mm-hmm. And we always say that it's basically like resetting a broken bone, what we're doing.
Exactly.
And it can be fun, it can be wonderful, but we really are just trying to help heal some fractures that happened to people when they were younger.
So the big fires, and then also there's little fires that come along just in daily life and in adulting and things like that. So we help put a lot of fires out, resetting the broken bones.
So that was part 1 of Caregiving Month with Miss Mommy Black and Mommy Boo. Stay tuned next week for part number 2 as we continue on with this little series of Caregiving Month. Be sure to check out our social media, which you can find in the description box below, and support us on Patreon, where you can get early access to new content, special content such as meetups, and other exclusive perks for being a part of the Little Baby Boo Nursery Nation. We're gonna stick with that and say it's gonna be a thing. Put it on a t-shirt. But y'all have a fantastic week, and of course, comment, like, subscribe, and share with a friend, and have a great day.